Hello, beautiful. Today is Father's Day, and it was really on my heart to make a video about daughters and dads and the relationship between a father and her daughter. Father's Day is a very interesting time for me. It has always been a very interesting time for me. I have always sat in church on Father's Day and cried a lot of silent tears, because of all of the memories that I don't have with my father that I wish I would have had, because of all of the missed daddy and daughter dates, because of all of the shows that my father was never able to attend, because of the relationship that just was never really cultivated between us. My father was alive up until last year. He's been gone for a year now. He passed away on June 15th, 2015. Father's Day was on June 21st, 2015, and I didn't find out that my father had passed away until June 20th, 2015. So the day before Father's Day, I received a phone call that changed my life. So imagine sitting in church the very next day and the tears that I tried so hard to conceal just continued to fall, so much so that people were bringing me tissues from pretty much everywhere. This was the first Father's Day that I really felt like I hadn't done everything I could have done to be the best daughter. And I say that because earlier in the year, last year, I made a phone call to my father expressing to him how I truly felt about him. And I wasn't disrespectful in the way that I approached the conversation. I just wanted him to know that I felt a little disappointed and I felt abandoned. Now, there's no mistake that my father loved me. He called me often. He made sure whenever he left voicemails to let me know that I was his princess. However, I do have memories of being very young, and my father in his humanity wasn't always the best example of a father. So in that, I began to dislike talking to him, so to speak. I can remember certain conversations with him where I would feel so small and so worthless. And I know now that he wasn't saying some of the things that he was saying to me purposely. He was allowing his alcohol to speak for him. My father did drink heavily, and I honestly feel like that caused a rift between the two of us. So when I got older and I had the option of answering the phone, when it wasn't mandatory for me to talk to him as like it was when I was a child, once I got my own phone and I could choose whether or not to answer the phone, I often chose not to answer the phone because I didn't want to feel like I was being verbally, I don't necessarily want to say that I was being abused. It was just, I didn't like the way that he talked to me sometimes. And I couldn't within myself I just wanted to honor my father in everything that I did. And I couldn't verbalize to him in my younger years that the way that he spoke to me really broke me down. So instead of sitting through the lashings, the verbal lashings, instead of sitting through those, I just chose not to answer the phone at all. And it wasn't until last year, like I said, that I decided I was going to talk to him and share these things with him, letting him know how I truly felt. And I wanted to do so respectfully. I still honored him as my father, as my parent. And it wasn't an easy conversation to have. he didn't want to believe that what I was saying to him was truly how I felt, was truly how everything went down. I know what I felt, and I respect that he may not have seen it the same way as I saw it. In the end, I expressed to him how I felt, and I think that was necessary for the both of us, because after that, it was easier for me to answer his phone calls because he knew how I felt. My wish for every other daughter out there who does not have the best relationship with their father, my wish for you is that you would open yourself up to having those hard conversations. We are called to honor our parents, so I don't believe that it has to be done in a distasteful or a disrespectful manner. I believe that we can have these conversations as adults, especially now that we have grown to be able to see things from a different perspective. As we grow, we begin to see that our parents aren't perfect. Our parents are human. My father had an addiction to alcohol. That didn't change when I came into the world. That didn't change. He gave me the best that he had. He loved me the best way he knew how to love me. And I'm grateful for the love that he has shown me, because I cannot honestly say that he did not love me. I can't say that and tell the truth, because I know that my father loved me. I can tell by how he pursued me, even when I wasn't responsive, even when I didn't care to be pursued, he continued to pursue me. And that's so much like the love of God the Father. So my father did show me unconditional love, even though in his humanity, he failed me. And in my humanity, I failed him as well as a daughter. So we both failed each other. So I want to challenge every person, every woman who may not have the best relationship with their father, to truly do some soul searching, some introspection. Look inside and see what you can do to better your relationship. As human beings, we don't always know what needs to be done to right our wrongs. We don't always know what needs to be done to cultivate relationships, especially once they've been tattered and broken. I challenge you to put whatever may be holding you back aside, whether it be anger, whether it be fear, whether it be pride, whatever it is that's keeping you from cultivating a new relationship with your father. I challenge you to put that aside on this Father's Day. It may not go as you plan. It may take some time to get to a place where you all can have conversations and it's just effortless. When I had the conversation with my father, even though it did not go the way I intended for it to go, at the end of the conversation, I told him I didn't care what had happened between us in the past, that I was ready to start anew, that I was ready to start fresh, and that I wanted to have a relationship with him. And his words to me, I will never forget them. His words to me were, "This is the best day of my life." And I could hear how much joy it brought to him to hear me say that I didn't care about what had happened in the past. All I wanted was a better future with my father. And I regret that I didn't act on that soon enough, because when I had that conversation, I was away on tour on the road somewhere. And so when I did come back home, I didn't take the necessary steps immediately to make sure that we started on a path to that new relationship that I was looking forward to have. And the last time I did speak to him, I rushed him off the phone because I honestly thought that I still had time with him. I won't say that I'm guilty or that I feel guilty or that I feel regret, because you live and you learn. And it has helped me to learn to love harder and to take advantage of moments, to not take anything for granted, because tomorrow, as we all know, is not promised. So if you want a relationship with your father and you don't have one right now, do the work to make sure you get there. He may not know how to approach you now that you're grown and you have your own career and your own family, and you're doing all right for yourself. He may not know how to go about starting a new relationship with you or fixing what was broken between the two of you. But it's so important for you to reconcile those relationships. Reconcile the relationship with your father on this Father's Day. I implore you, look deep within your heart. Put your pride aside. Don't take life for granted. You all may not become best friends. One thing that gives me peace in the midst of all of this is the fact that I know I reconciled. It's the fact that I was able to tell him how I really, really felt. And he knew that I had nothing against him. And so when he left this earth, he knew for a fact that his daughter loved him. And I wanted to start a relationship with him. There was no bad blood between us. And I love my father. I do. It's my prayer that this video has helped you to see something within yourself that you may need to work on in terms of restoring relationship between you and your father. And I pray that you don't wait another minute. I pray that you pick up the phone or do whatever you need to do to make this right. You don't want to live your life with regrets, wishing you would have told him how you felt, wishing you would have taken the steps to have a relationship with your father. Trust me. So, until next time, stay beautiful.